Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another section of Women in Construction, where we like to celebrate those women in all types of positions within construction that don't get recognition usually for all of their work that they do. Today, we are joined by MaryAnn Gentry. She's the Director of Credit for Cowtown Materials. Thanks for joining us, MaryAnn.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Why don't we go ahead and start? Just tell us about your career journey and how you got to where you are now with Cowtown.
I have been here at Cowtown. It'll be 28 years this year. I'm not going to say how old I am, but I just had my daughter. I started here part-time, and this is my second job in my whole entire life. I was working at another credit collections company for James K. Wilson. It was a men's clothing store, and we did credit and collections for them. And so I was going to college, and I could work there, whether I went to school during the day or at night. It was collections and for nationwide. So we had both time slots all the way west and east. So it worked out for me. I came here and I've been here ever since.
That must make you happy.
So far, so good. Yep.
Good. So what's a normal day-to-day look like in your position, or is everything just different every time?
Well, that's what I like about my job, is that it's not monotonous. It's not the same thing over and over again. We have the different personalities for the different customers, different scenarios. That's one of the things that I do like about my job, is that it's not the same thing over and over again. I couldn't do that, but we're 14 companies, so I'm busy every minute of my day. I go home and I work and need to learn how to shut it off. But yep, and it's just we keep growing, and it's just we're adding customers, people not paying, people paying. It's good. I like growth. I like that we've merged our companies. So far, so good.
Very nice. And you said you have 14 companies in it now that are under you?
Yes.
Is that nationwide or just in Texas?
It's Texas mainly, and we have one yard in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Perfect. What skills have you found that are essential? I mean, obviously you've developed your skills over the years, but if you're just looking at somebody that would be in this position, what skills do you think that they would need to have?
They would need to be a strong person. You have to take the punches, roll with the punches. It can't be somebody soft doing my position. It's got to be, you've got to, stay strong, true, keep to your guidelines and deadlines and everything. You basically have to have good communication skills with your customers and know how to communicate well with them.
Sounds like it's more personality based than like actual school class learning.
Correct.
I believe that. I've met managers in my life. What is a main challenge that you face in your position? I know we were talking earlier about software changes. I mean, do you think that's maybe the biggest issue currently, or do you have anything else?
Well, I mean, it's adaptable. We might not like it. It's adaptable. You have to, you can't be stuck in one thing. You always have to go with the flow and always do better and try to learn more. I guess my biggest challenge right now, because of COVID, that's one of the things that when we try to collect, they use that as an excuse. Oh, my office had COVID. I didn't get it because I was out of the office because I had COVID, you know. And
that would get it. Same thing over and over.
Right. So, you know, I guess that's the biggest is collections right now, and the collection laws changing with our liens and our lien letters and our timelines. Just having to adapt to those. It's a positive thing that's happened. We just need to adapt to it, and we'll get there.
So I remember back when I was a credit manager, how we went to court to fight that lien law change. You just said that it's positive things that are happening. What changed between back then and now the current change that actually makes it more positive?
Well, it's now down to one letter instead of, well, if it's this scenario, you got to send this letter, or if it's a scenario, you got to just send out this letter. So it's one letter. It's easier to follow. We don't have to send out the first letter if we're dealing with the sub. We can. There's not anything that you can't do, which we're going to continue doing, just because that helps us in my industry that used to be in. I mean, that first letter helps us. Oh, well, we're due money because it goes quick, you know.
Right.
And so we're going to continue doing that, which is just a simple form letter. But then everything else that we do have to send is just one letter. It's much easier. So that's what I like about it, is that it's simpler.
I know that's what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So are you a member of any professional groups or associations, anything that's helped with your education over the years?
Just NACM. Just go to those classes as I need to, or refresher class or whatever. I do like doing that. The last 2 years, of course, we hadn't done much because of COVID. So I do like to get back into that. There is some classes that NACM is having that I are probably going to go and just do a refresher course kind of.
So, you mentioned COVID. What are the most, I guess, the major things that you've seen happen, and how have you adjusted to those changes?
We still have to, okay, I didn't get my invoice, or we didn't pay our bills because we were out for COVID. We still have company policy. We still have to do our letters. I'm sorry, but that's what we got to do. We understand, but they also need to understand that we still have to do our job. We still have our rules and policies in place, and to protect our company. I think our industry it's growing. There's a lot of growth during COVID. We never stopped working. We were essential. And we just have to show up and be here and get our work done, and just kind of apologize as we go, but we still have a job to do. And, there's things that happen in life and changes and whatever may become, but we still have to follow our policies. So we just continue doing what we've got to do.
It seems like, especially since you were essential and you kept growing, that you probably would have wound up having to do a lot more notices and liens than you had to in the past. How did that work with everybody working remote?
Well, the good thing about it is that our attorney that we use, which...
So you've kind of grown in the same company, but have you seen any difference or changes or issues since you've been a woman in your company, or not even necessarily in your company, just in construction?
I think being a woman in construction and credit, it's got its advantages. As far as like with me, I start off nice, and I can be nice, but then I can also be all right, hard, and I feel like when you start off nice, they want to pay you. They feel bad for not paying you, and they keep in touch with you. And so you have that soft side, but then you also have that strong side if need to get to that point. I think that's an advantage as a woman in credit and in being in a men's industry and having that. I don't want to be that men can't do it, but I feel like we have an advantage over men in that aspect.
I love that. You are the first person in almost 2 years that I've interviewed that says it's an advantage. Yeah, that's a great viewpoint of it.
Right.
Do you have any advice for women that are just starting out in construction, or maybe they're currently in a position, but they're having issues dealing with being a woman?
You get to where you are. And if you have a good boss and lets you grow, that helps. But nobody's going to make you grow unless you do it yourself. Right. You have to have in this position, you have to roll with the punches. You can't take anything personal. You just have to be strong, and nobody's going to advance you than your own self.
You just got to make your stand as a woman then.
Right.
Well, we have some questions to get personal on you. If you could be anything you want to be other than what you currently are, what would that be?
I always wanted to be and one of the things, this is not something that I would have, I want to be a credit manager. I want to collect. You just don't grow up and say that's what you want to be. I was always interested in law and in being, there was a time that my mom worked for the county, and there was a time that there was a position open where you would go in and you would translate stuff that the DA would come in and the people, and then you would come in and you would translate for them from Spanish to English, and whatever the scenario was. And that interested me really, really. I mean, not that I like ugly stuff that happens in the world, but it interests me that I could do something like that, not the translate part, but just work in a legal office, at a DA's office or somewhere like that. If I could do that again, that's probably where I would want to go, something like that.
I think that would be very scary, but it would be very interesting. Like you said, not that there's good stuff in the world all the time, but just hear those different stories.
Hear the different stories. See, what can I do to help? Are you really in the center? Are you not? Yeah. And it's just,
that would be hard. That would be weird.
It would be hard, but it would be different. Nothing would ever be the same. It would always be something different. Like I couldn't do AP. Oh my gosh.
No offense to anybody that's watching this.
Exactly. Right. That's true. I mean, kudos to them.
So what are 3 words that your friends would use to describe you?
I am fun. I am dedicated. Mm-hmm. And I am diplomatic.
Oh, I like that one. Well, and the fact that I have known you for probably over 10 years, I agree with all 3 of those. And your job stint obviously just shows the dedication as well.
Yeah.
What do you like to do outside of work?
I like to go, we go to concerts a lot. Me and my husband, we like doing that. We like to go to the Ranger games, hockey games, stuff like that.
Action stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what is next for you in your career? Are you going to stay where you are until you retire, or do you think you'll move on and do something else?
No, I think I'll stay here. It's already been almost 28 years. There's no reason for me, unless something drastic changes, but I plan on retiring from here.
Bet they appreciate that. Well, again, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you're busy, but I'm really excited that you got this nomination and to celebrate you as a woman in construction.
Well, thank you, Lori. I appreciate it.